Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. Yeah, Friday. It's January 27th. If you're listening to this on Friday, if you're hanging out with us live on YouTube, it's still Thursday night. Joined today by my good buddy, Mr. Drizzy26. Dre, what's happening, my friend?
Not much. Just doing good. Fresh off of work, ready to talk some NBA for tomorrow. Get my mind right for the slate, for fantasy and for betting purposes. Gotta love it. What about
Best
yourself?
way to get your day started, right? Getting into the slate the night before. You typically always kind of find something that you may or may not be on when you do that. I mean, I do. I do that a
Mhm.
lot. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So,
I feel like honestly, like when I do these shows at night, which I probably should do more of them, I tend to do better the next day when I have when I play.
listen, I try to make everyone better. All right. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, for years I've said this. I feel like getting a head start on the slate. I've never minded doing these shows because I feel like it makes me better, and hopefully, if I'm becoming a better fantasy player, better, then I'm helping people in that process as well. So, I've sincerely enjoyed doing early morning shows or night before shows breakdowns for years now. So I'm getting old though, getting a lot of gray hairs in my beard, but we got a 5-game slate. It's been a nice week for NBA. The slates have been fantastic. No games over 10. Like, it's just been a nice week for NBA. We finished it out on a nice little 5-gamer. We get started with the Bucks and the Pacers. 237.5 total. The Bucks are an 8-point favorite in this one. As far as the injury report here, Halliburton remains out. Numhard, Neesmith, questionable. Miles Turner, questionable. A lot of question marks here. A lot of question marks. Should this only be an 8-point spread, too? On the Bucks side, Bobby Portis remains out, MCL sprain. It sounds like he's going to be out at least a couple weeks. At this point, like a couple weeks might push him past All-Star break, so we'll see on that. We'll start here with Milwaukee, though. No Portis the other night. We saw Pat Connaughton play 38 minutes against Denver. He's 4,100, and I mean, I could see this being like the norm. It's not like they have another great option to kind of play this like wing type play. You could play Giannis at the 4 and Lopez at the 5 and kind of let Connaughton be the 3, and it kind of works. So, I mean, that's where I want to start. The Pacers, not a great defensive team. What are your thoughts here on the Bucks?
Yeah, for me, that's definitely something I definitely would want to attack for sure. Pat Connaughton, he played 38 minutes in that game last game against the Nuggets. I think that we can see definitely 35s consistently going forward until Bobby Portis is back. And his price is right now at a good price where you can get him at. I don't know if he'll have a smash game like that again, but for that price, he could easily hit value and get over that. So he's someone I definitely would be interested in. Joe Ingles too. He played 27, I think, minutes when I looked just now. Last game as well. Someone I think we definitely have to pay attention to and keep in our lineups. I know he's been up and down so far in the season, but this should be an easy matchup for him against Indiana, where he should be able to thrive in. I do also don't mind Grayson Allen a little bit, but he would be my least favorite of them of the supplementary pieces. And I do like Brooke Lopez as well at 5,800 going against Miles Turner. I think he can definitely have a good game here at that 5,800 price on DK. Um, Giannis is probable to play, they say. Um, I don't know if I can get to him today, um, just based on probably the slate and other guys that I think I might want to target more. But 11.5 is still a good price for him. And um, yeah, if you want to play Giannis, you play him. But I just don't know if I'm going to get to playing him today, honestly.
Listen, Giannis is always someone that, like, if you're playing a lot of lineups, makes the cut because he's someone that can put up 50 fantasy points in a half.
Yeah.
So, like, he's always, like, in your player pool. It's a 5-game slate. Raw points matters. I mean, when you're looking at the slate overall, you're probably ranking Ja Morant, Steph Curry, and Giannis as like the three main studs on this slate. I don't know. I like John Moran a lot. We'll talk about him in the next game, actually. But I mean, the discount might be enough, but we'll have to see how much value opens up on the slate as well. I think Giannis is just someone that kind of fits the build on a 5-game slate where brawl points matter. So I think Drew is a little too pricey with Giannis healthy, with
Yeah.
Middleton back now. Middleton not playing enough minutes where I want to play him at 6K. Love the Ingles call. Indiana plays kind of big. Maybe you could take some tournament shots on Brooke Lopez as well. But I like the Ingles call. I like Pat Connaughton a lot. Grayson Allen to get shots up. He'll play minutes. But, yeah, I mean, Milwaukee an interesting team with no Bobby Portis. What's happening, YouTube chat? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday night. Got some people hanging out with us. The Pacers side of this one, I mean, Halliburton remains out. TJ McConnell remains playing a bunch of minutes, continues to do well. Didn't have like a terrible game, didn't have an amazing game against the Magic the other night. His price tag is now up to 65. I'm like, I've been on team TJ McConnell at 6K, but now I might just like shift gears and say I'm going to take shots on Buddy Hield and maybe be underweight on TJ McConnell, but it's tough. This is a tough matchup. With no Halliburton, though, I think if you wanted to run back Indiana, like if you're playing some of these Milwaukee guys, you're looking at like a Mathurin, a Buddy Hield, a TJ McConnell, or if you want to just say, hey, I'm going to trust like Chris Duarte's minutes the other night and say I'm going to play some of him, but he was hustling. I watched a lot of Magic games, and he was hustling the other night. I think he had like 4, 5, 6 steals. So, I mean, 4,200. I mean, probably wouldn't come off the court if this game got out of hand a little bit. What are your thoughts here on the Pacers?
TJ McConnell's iffy for me, man. Like, I've been fading him lately whenever I've had time to play. It's worked out the last game against Orlando. And I think Denver was another time where I faded him as well. But that obviously killed me with the Phoenix and Chicago game here. But the price is at 6,500 is steep to play. Granted, he had a great game against Milwaukee the last time they played when he went for 56 DK points. I think he's someone you definitely need to have in your pool for sure because Milwaukee's defense is still not the same as what it was. I think they're just trying to get healthy and make it to the playoffs. And also, it's around All-Star break, so like everyone's a little bit lax. So TJ can still have a good game here, so I don't mind him at all. I do like Mathurin a lot here in this spot. I think he's someone we can take advantage of with his athleticism. As long as he's going to play mid 30 minutes, I think he's someone that can have a big game in this spot here as well. Nembhard is that questionable tag is going to be important. I like him as a play if he does end up playing too. At 4,700, I think he's a good play. Duarte, like you said, he was hustling. He played really well. If he continues to me, Chris Duarte last year when we were playing him as a rookie, he was a really good player before he got hurt.
Man. He was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like now he's getting opportunities to play, and he played 39 minutes last time. I think if he continues to get that amount of minutes and that amount of run, I think you have to play him because he is a really talented player. For the Pacers, and I loved playing him a lot last year, and I would continue to play him again here in this spot. Buddy Hield is my least favorite because he's been iffy. He's been up and down lately. Obviously, the last 3 games he's been hot. Is he going to continue that hot streak? That's the thing. So, he would be the last player I would want to get to, and obviously Miles Turner we know is questionable. So, I think he's someone you can definitely play. He can have an upside game here. Excellent GPP play. And in this game, honestly, with all these players, you probably want to game stack him a lot more than anything, too, because the way Indiana has been playing lately has been really, really good. Like, they have kept games really close and actually have won some games and come back. So, I think that this is a team that does hustle a lot, play hard, and definitely great tournament plays, and definitely worthy of running it back on the other side with a couple of these Milwaukee pieces as well.
Yeah, they were on a stretch there for a week and a half type, and their net rating was just atrocious. They were just not playing defense. They were not doing well on offense. But the last few games, they're playing better. And they're keeping games close. And again, it goes back to that conversation. If this game stays remotely close, with it being in Indiana, like, all right, Giannis at 11-5 on a 5-game slate, like, I might just say, hey, give me those 60, 65, 70 fantasy points and call it a day. He gets 40, he crushes you. I mean, there's no doubt about it on a 5-game slate that if he does not get there. So we move on. We got Memphis at Minnesota, 237.5 total in this one. Memphis a 3 to 3.5 point favorite, depending on the book that you're looking at. On the Memphis side of things, Steven Adams remains out. Desmond Bane, questionable. Contra concussion protocol. He's out on the injury report. We've seen concussion protocol change throughout day of. So as of right now, he's out, but we'll see. Danny Green out as well. On the Minnesota side, Gobert is questionable. McLaughlin, Prince, and Karl Anthony Towns remains out. We'll go Memphis first. Bane. I mean, that really matters. We'll start there. Steven Adams being out matters. It's so weird, right? Like the other night, we wanted it to be Clark. The other night, we wanted it to be Tillman, and it was Clark. Man. So I think it's whoever starts. I think Memphis has showed us that. When Tillman started, he played 30 minutes. When Clark started, he ended up playing 32 minutes. So I think, honestly, it just for Memphis, if you're thinking about Clark and Tillman, which you are, it's a 5-game slate. They're semi-cheap. Minnesota banged up inside, especially if Rudy Gobert doesn't play with this groin injury again. So I think whoever starts for the Memphis Bigs is who you're targeting. And then on the high end, I mean, John Morant's in the conversation today. Anthony Edwards on the other side. We'll talk about him in a second, but let's go Memphis first here. What are your thoughts on Memphis?
Yeah, Ja is an elite play today. Bane is very, very, very important because that 7.5 price tag is really nice, like you said. We have to figure out if he's playing. I'm assuming he doesn't play because they want to watch his because he came back rather quickly from a previous injury that he had. That he had before. They kept him out a couple weeks here, so I think they might want to sit him out this game. That's my thinking. So if they sit him out, I'm going to probably look to target a guy like, obviously, Ja at a high clip here. But then I'm going to definitely have to look to a guy like Dillon Brooks a little bit because he's going to definitely be taking over, try to score more here. And Tyus Jones. But Tyus Jones probably will be more of a priority than Dillon Brooks. Just because I know that the scoring option as far as with Tyus here is more solidified and more consistent compared to Dillon, in my opinion. But Dillon Brooks would be a great tournament play, GPP play at 4.6. I think that's a great value for him. And like you said, when it comes to the center position, it's going to be based on who's starting. That's going to matter a lot. If Tillman started, play Tillman. If Clark started, play Clark. But I do also don't want to forget about Jared Jackson here in this spot. I think that opens up a lot more also shot opportunities for him as to be the second option here behind Ja Morant if Bane's out. And like I said, followed by probably Tyus Jones and then Dillon Brooks in the fourth option as well. But that's how I rank it.
Yeah, I mean, super interesting, just overall game. Super interesting on the Memphis side if Bane sits because, I mean, Bane being out would definitely open up Dillon Brooks at 4,600, give, a little bit more usage to Ja Morant as well. So a lot to watch here on the Memphis side. Minnesota side, I mean, you're watching Rudy Gobert if he plays or not. He's come back and he's played 36 and 34 minutes. So if he plays, he's way, way, way too cheap at 6,400 against Brandon Clark or Xavier Tillman on the other side. So if Gobert plays, he's a go for me. Outside of that, I mean, Edwards is he's on another level right now. His scoring is just so good that you're looking at him on props every single night, it seems like, but you're also on a 5-game slate saying, hey, maybe I could play some Edwards in play some Gobert. If Gobert is out, it becomes super interesting on the Minnesota side of who you take shots on and who you don't. But Naz Reid at 4,300 would definitely be the guy I think I would take some shots on just for his ceiling. Minnesota, what do you got today, Dre?
Minnesota. I'm looking. This team played each other in the playoffs last year too. For what I'm looking at, I just wanted to look at the game stats just to make sure I was right. But it is right. John Moran didn't have great games against this team. Minnesota side, Anthony Edwards obviously is going to be the top target for most guys. But my top target from this team, as long as Cat stays out, um, especially in this matchup here, here for some reason, D'Angelo Russell plays really well if I'm correct against Memphis. I'm just double checking that, but I'm pretty sure he has had excellent games against Memphis. So, and at 6,700, I think that's a guy that we can definitely target and look at. He'll probably be the first guy I would want to get into my lineups here for for Minnesota, and then followed by Anthony Edwards because of the usage right there. I'm not playing Gobert whether he plays or not, honestly. He's played the last two games, I think, and I think he was questionable with the groin injury for sure. It's just more so like I just don't know what he's going to be able to give me and if he's going to even get pulled from the game. So I'd rather just take my chances and go and Russell here. But I mean, and go with like a guy, someone else here. But Nas Reed is also a great option. I like Kyle Anderson. I think he's also a good option. And McDaniels at 4,500. That would probably be a guy I might want to get to a lot of here. And Nas Reed, obviously, if what's we call this, if Goldberg is out.
All right, we got the Battle of Florida, Orlando at Miami taking on the Heat. 218 total in this game. The Heat, a 7-point favorite on the Miami side of things. I mean, Duncan Robinson's out. Yurt 7 remains out on the Magic side. Okiki remains out. So, I mean, two pretty full-strength teams. We're getting Caleb Martin probable here from Miami. So, like, for weeks, it feels like, Miami was just a team that had a ton of people on the injury report. Orlando, it's felt like that for 2 years. And now we're getting two very close to healthy teams. So we'll go Orlando side first. And I mean, as a Magic fan, I'm super excited about like where this team has potential wise. But as someone that's like looking at the DFS and betting side of this game, it's like, where's the value? I struggle to have really any interest in Orlando outside of maybe like Franz Wagner because he has those games where he has like that triple double type upside.
Yes, I agree with you 100% here. I don't know if the prop is out right now, but one bet I do like for Franz Wagner, I will take it every day as long as it stays that way. Um, his over on rebounds. He's always at 3.5. I've been watching it lately. He's been at 3.5 a lot. If you get that line early where he's at 3.5, I would definitely try to take the over on that for sure because he crushes that line at ease for the most part. He didn't get there last game. He had 3 rebounds, but for the most part, for everything I've looked at statistically, he's always gotten there. But Miami, only person I don't mind taking some shots on here for Orlando besides Wagner at 6'2" is Wendell Carter. Wendell Carter seems like he's been playing a lot better, so I don't mind him at all. And honestly, if Jonathan Isaac could get healthy, well, he's getting healthy, and if he could get a lot more minutes eventually over time, I think he would be a fantastic play. Honestly, but even because look at what he's giving you in just 8 to 9 and 8 to 10 minutes here. 20, 13 fantasy points at 3.5. I think he's a good value play, especially if he can if he can give you that. I know it's kind of crazy, but that's like a 150 play. Or if you got like a crazy a last lineup at a good and a whole bunch of other spots, you love all your other spots, and he's just like a last piece to fit in type of play. If you have no one else that you like around that area, his point per minute is wild.
Okay, Jonathan Isaac is his defense is going to make a huge difference when he's back to 100%.
Yeah.
Listen, they have been very like forthcoming with like his like minute restriction. So, I mean, that's just one of those things where you're paying attention. Like at 3,500, I think I would need to see them say, hey, there's a chance that like Isaac's going to play 18 to 20 minutes tonight. They're going to be very, very careful with Jonathan Isaac. He is extremely talented. He's been injured for almost, 2.5 years now. So
Yep.
he's very, very talented. And if they could get him back at full strength, like, I mean,
This team's
just
gonna be
again,
scary.
yeah, this team, man. Like, you look at this team with like Banchero now too, Franz, Wendell Carter. You get Isaac back, and then like if Fultz plays up to his potential, like you
Whew.
won't get it every night. He's super inconsistent, but the days that he does, man, the Magic are dangerous. Give them like 1 or 2 more years to maybe get like 1 or 2 more pieces and move some of these other guys. And yeah, I mean, such a solid core here. Not even mentioning like Anthony and Suggs, what type of
Yeah.
like upside those guys have. So listen, I've been here before. Every time we do this, we do really well for like 2 years and then everyone leaves. I mean, Orlando's on a huge market, and I understand that. Miami side of this one, I mean, instantly, like when I opened up this slate and I was going through stuff, like Jimmy Butler jumps off the page at me. I think at 7,600, Jimmy Butler in a
Ooh.
matchup with Orlando just seems way too cheap.
There's a thing that I always say. I've been saying a lot, actually a lot lately when I'm on the show. It's a button that we have on our tool here. It's called the lock button. On DK, you lock him in at that price. There's
Yeah,
no
way too cheap.
if. Yeah, he's just way too cheap. No if, ands, or buts. 7.6. That's the lowest price I've seen Jimmy Butler in a while. Just play him. Don't think twice about it. Just play him, and honestly, figure out the rest of your letter from there. Then the upside he has in this matchup, because Miami has been keeping games competitive or been losing some games here. So I would definitely stack this, run this back on the other side with somebody, especially if you're playing Jimmy. But Jimmy to me is an automatic lock. I don't think I want to play anyone else, maybe besides Bam Adebayo. But that's really it. That's the only two guys I'm looking to get to, unless some of these guys end up being out. But I think we're going to have as healthy as a roster we're going to have for them for a little bit now.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Miami is a really interesting spot here. Like, I think it's just Butler for me. But I mean, in tournaments, Orlando is so bad at defending the perimeter that I think Tyler Hero is super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and like maybe even like a 3-point prop if it comes in at like 1.5. Maybe this is one of those spots you kind of take the over on a 3-point prop. So I don't ever shop Tyler Hero 3-point props for what it's worth.
And what about Victor Oladipo as a mid-range play? Like, he's been getting a lot more minutes consistently lately, and he's been playing pretty well. I think he's an interesting GPP play as well.
Yeah, against Boston the other night, it was just weird to see him like minutes wise get restricted a little bit, but that's where I just worry, like with like Struss being healthy and Martin being healthy, like if they're just gonna like the other night, Max Struss got hot and they just played him. So
Yeah.
I mean Oladipo, I think if you're playing, it's a 5-game slate, you're gonna have to take some shots that you're not like ultra comfortable with. I mean, that's the name of the game on a 5-game slate. So, but when those hit, they're fantastic.
Exactly.
Cleveland at OKC, no total in this game. Cavs on the second end of a back-to-back. We'll see. Only team on a back-to-back for this slate. We'll see if any injury report or anything comes out on the injury report for them. Dort is out. Poco, Robinson Earl remain out for the Thunder as well. Cleveland, we know like they sat Kevin Love on the first end of a back-to-back. That doesn't shock me. Donovan Mitchell did not play Thursday with the groin. I mean, I think it's just maintenance at this point. He missed almost, it was 8 days. So playing 38 minutes against the Knicks the other night, like, doesn't shock me. I think Mitchell comes back for this game. I think he plays. I think he's a fantastic option. The guy that like I have circled on my research though is Jared Allen, $6K. I really like this price tag for Jared Allen. The Thunder, a very beatable team for bigs. I think they allow like the 5th or 6th most fantasy points, but they struggle rebounding. I think they allow like the 3rd most rebounds to opposing centers. So maybe a spot where you're looking at Allen's like rebound props and looking at him on the DFS side at 6K. Talk to me here about Cleveland.
Yeah, Jared Allen is definitely that guy you want to get to a lot of here. First guy we get into my lineups at 6K. It's just a fantastic price for him. The upside is tremendous on the rebounding side. I would definitely go over for sure rebounds. Last time he played this game, he had 41 fantasy points and played 37 minutes because OKC is a lot better team than what they were in the past, and they keep games close. So a double-double would be in the works for him, and a good game for him to bounce back here. So um, I like Jared Allen a lot here. I don't know if I would play. I would play Mitchell. I think he's fine at 8,700 since the price is coming down. I This is also a good spot for Garland. I would not play them together as far as Mitchell and Garland play them separately. Garland is 8,300 though, but on a slate like this, he's going to probably be lower owned compared to these other guys as far as Mitchell. So I love taking a shot on him, and especially if you're doing a mid-range build. Kevin Love, if he plays at 3,600. I think he is interesting here in the amount of time he can play. I know he's been seeing a little bit less minutes, but I think if he gets up to like 20 minutes, he can smash here his salary, especially the front line of OKC here. So that's another guy I don't mind getting to here as well. Rubio's iffy to me at 3-3. I kind of want to play him. Because we saw it gonna get up to 19 minutes, but I don't know if that's going to be consistent. I think that might be based on the game flow and how well their team's playing and how well he's playing. So that's another guy that I would be hesitant on, but I think he's a good tournament play. If we can get maybe some consistency on his minutes here.
All right, the Thunder side of this one. Dort being out definitely makes maybe like a Jalen Williams type of play interesting at 5,400. A tough matchup. Okay, we could easily start by saying that Cleveland, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. They should be at full strength on the second end of a back-to-back. I don't think like Garland or anybody sits here. Maybe. And then, like I said, I think Mitchell was just kind of, hey, he's been out for a while. Let's not do back to back. And, but anyway, looking at the Thunder, I think Jalen Williams is probably my favorite here. And then I might even get some exposure to like Kendrick Williams at 4,400. Like, the more I like go through this slate, the more I might like try to get Giannis and like a Morant and Curry or something, or like stars and scrubs type of build, because there's so much potential value and it's the night before. So we don't typically have this much value the night before, but talk to me here about the Thunder.
Thunder, I love the Kendrick Williams call. Someone I definitely don't mind taking some shots on at 4,400. Besides that, though, it would be Jalen Williams. I also really love Josh Giddey here in this spot and SGA. That's pretty much it for me on that side of the game. But Giddey, I think is an excellent tournament play in this spot. His usage should go up a little bit more. Rebounding should be he rebounds the ball really well to begin with, but rebounding should go up a little bit more. So if there's a prop here for him for the rebounding, I think he should take it. I think this is a spot where we could see him have a triple double here, especially in this spot against Cleveland.
All right, we finish it out with Toronto at Golden State. Solid game, 229.5 total. Warriors a 5.5 point favorite. Wiggins is questionable. He's sick. We'll see. They'll have shoot around, so we'll know. And then Porter is out still for Toronto. Going Toronto first. Scotty Barnes was on fire in the first quarter the other night and then just never really showed up again. Really like that spot against Sacramento, and they just kind of rolled over Sacramento in that game. I like this game competitive-wise. I think this is going to be one of the better games on the slate. What do you like here for Toronto?
Toronto, I want to play. I want to get as much Pascal Siakam as I possibly can here in this spot. I think this is a good spot for a good game for him, game environment for him. Warriors have not been the best. Have not been a good defensive team lately. Um, even at his price of 9.5, I think we can still get a ceiling game from him. The last time he played this team, he shot the ball 9 for 20, which is a pretty decent percentage here. Had 27 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists, but I think we can definitely see him rebound the ball a little bit better here. Was looking to be a primary scorer here, but I think he's a good option as well as Fred VanVleet. Barnes, I think, yeah, Barnes, I think also is great too. My favorite from those top three is probably going to be, uh, it's probably going to be Price. If you want to include Price, I would say Fred VanVleet at 8K. I think it's a great price, followed by Pascal Siakam and then Barnes here, last as far as the top three guys on that team. But I do also love getting to OG Anunoby at 5,900. That's a fantastic price for him. So I probably may want to make a core play in my lineups here today. And Gary Trent is obviously a GPP play that I think is worthy of being played here. Um, and then we want to get into some of the bench guys here, Preston Achua and Boucher. Those are two guys I think are definitely in play today on this type of slate. It can have a massive game. I think one of them is going to have a great game here. So those are two guys that are 4-2 and 3-6 that we can see go off for 40 fantasy points potentially. So I don't mind taking shots on them.
Yeah, Precious being back playing these types of minutes at 4,200. Again, going back to that conversation of there's a lot of value on this slate. I mean, balanced builds might be like the contrarian build on this slate. I mean, a lot of value. Boucher the other night just had a really good game, like back to back really good games now. I mean, he did it on like really efficient scoring, and they let him, get 22 minutes. So I really like Precious. I don't know if I'll get to Busher on this slate just because we have a lot of good options just in general on this slate. Yeah, I mean, Toronto definitely a team you can fire up some shots on here. I mean, Pascal Siakam is one of the guys that has triple double upside on any slate as well. Going to Golden State here, like I feel like this is a game Steph gets up for. You have to think that he's going to try to come out and have a big game here, defending his homeland. But yeah, I mean, I definitely don't mind Curry. Again, where I rank him with like Morant and Giannis is tough. I think I rank Giannis as my top like stud on this slate. The more we get through this slate, the more I think Giannis is going to be my guy. Clay is someone that, you don't necessarily think he's going to get like 7x, but he has like the upside to get like 8 or 9x on any slate. So I think that's kind of where I'm looking. I think if Wiggins is out, Jordan Poole would, potentially become more like of an option. I think that this is a game where if you want to take a tournament shot on like an Anthony Lamb, they might need his size in this game, and he might play a few extra minutes if Wiggins is out. And then Draymond, he's over 40 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 games. Price staying right around 6,200. So Draymond definitely on the board today. Golden State, Dre, what do you got today?
Yeah, Draymond Green is the first guy I want to get in here for sure. Probably going to be a little bit of a priority for me. I think he's a fantastic play. Does a little bit of everything. He plays well against teams like this that try to match up with his size here. And lately, obviously from Golden State, we've been seeing that they've been playing Draymond at the 5 and trying to play their best lineups here. So I think he's a great play today in this spot. So he would be someone, like I said, first against my lineups. And then I want to try to get a guy like obviously like Steph here as well too at 10-4. The scoring upside is just obviously the ceiling is limitless on him too. So that's someone I definitely want to try to target. That Wiggins news is kind of important because I think Wiggins being out opens up the door for more minutes for Dante DiVincenzo potentially and Kuminga. So especially more so Kuminga. And Kuminga, I think, is another guy that can perform well in this matchup too. It's another off the. I think a player that I know it's not going to be on a lot, and he's at 4K. So that news I think is kind of important to get to and know for sure. I don't mind Clay. I don't mind Jordan Poole, but Poole is going to be obviously more of a better play without Wiggins here as well. Um, and then also I do like a lot is Kevon Looney at 4,800. I think he's a very, very good play. He's been rebounding the ball really, really well here. Um, just overall for the season, and just been able to get some blocks and some steals here. So to me, I think he's definitely a guy who can give you 30 to 35 fantasy points in this spot here against this team.
All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we'll get out of here for the weekend. Before we get into the morning grind game, speaking of the weekend, I'll be out at the 24 hours race for the Rolex this weekend, Saturday night. Gonna do some behind the scenes stuff over on the RotoGrinders Instagram page. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you're following the RotoGrinders Instagram page. And yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, do some behind the scenes stuff. Morning grind game, DraftKings pricing, DraftKings scoring. Favorite play under 5K to go 7X. Who do you got today? We have plenty of options.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of options. You said to go 5X?
No, under 5K to go 7X.
Oh, 7X, 7X, 7X. I am going to go between two guys now. This is kind of tough for me. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say the guy who's fresh in my mind and from last game, and I really like him a lot. Kevon Looney. I think Kevon Looney can go for 7X here on this price.
All right, I'm going Precious. Duarte was my other one. I like both of these guys. I think they both have some ceiling today. Over 8K to go under 5X. Who's your bust today?
That's a tough one. I kind of want to say, I really kind of want to say Giannis, but that's too bold of a call. I mean, that's too risky of a call. I'm definitely going. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with. Actually, no, Drew Holiday. Sorry,
I was gonna say there's an answer there.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew. He would probably be that guy for me as well. I expect Mitchell to play, so I'm gonna go Garland as my bust today. And if Mitchell sits, Garland's not a bust. He's one of the best plays on the slate. If that happens, just saying. Favorite 6X play today? Who do you got?
Derek said Dre 6X is Randall, obviously. My 6X play of the day is going to be Josh Giddey.
Oh, I like it. Listen, yes, you're right. It is. It's Allen. I love this spot. YouTube chat, paying attention, feeling me out. I mean, I'm that predictable nowadays, huh? Like I gotta switch up. Like for a long time, like when the morning grind game was like super competitive, which it's not anymore. If anybody wants it to be, we could keep track again. But it's fun just having it laid back kind of game. But I used to like make sure I didn't mention like some of my plays where I could like boost them up in the morning grind game and like really drive home the point. But yeah, Jared Allen, 6K, way too cheap for a matchup against the Thunder. I know second in a back-to-back, but love this spot for Jared Allen today. Let's get weird. GPP play of the day. Who do you got today?
I mentioned a couple weird guys out there. I'm gonna say Ricky Rubio. Actually, matter of fact, no, I'm gonna say Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac is my play.
All right, I like it. Again, like the Magic beat writers have been all over this Isaac news, so watch that news. They could give us some indication on minutes for him. I'm gonna go Kendrick Williams. I like Jalen Williams a lot, but I think he'll be higher owned, so I'll go Kendrick Williams. I think that he's someone that like has sneakily shown that like he has that like triple double potential. And with Dort being out, I think there's going to be plenty of minutes here for him. Tough matchup against Cleveland, I get that, but I'm going to take Kendrick Williams. Any bets standing out to you here night before?
Not that I'm looking at right now. Let me pull up Prize Picks real quick. Cause I've been heavy on Prize Picks a lot. If you guys aren't on Prize Picks, you should get on Prize Picks. It is great. They don't really have any lines out right now.
You should also
But
get on our sponsor, Sleeper Fantasy. 100% deposit bonus up to $100 using the promo code Grinders. I'm just kidding. We love Prize Picks too. I'm just messing with Dre. He's had a long day. Listen, this guy, he's like, Stevie, 10:40. I'm gonna be tired, but I'll be there, and we'll get through this, and we're gonna crush it. And that's what Dre is, man. He's a crusher over here.
Yeah, but Sleeper also as well. But they got no bets out right now. If I'm looking at, but I do, like I said, mentioned before on the show, I love the over on Jaren Allen's rebounds.
Yep.
I would ladder it if you can, possibly too. I also do like Wagner over on rebounds as well. I'll probably I'm gonna be on scores and odds also later on, which is also something that RG has, and we do really good over there with our bets. I'll have a few of them out tomorrow for everyone as well.
There you go. Scores and odds, link in the description. Always appreciate everyone supporting the morning grind for the scores and odds. Mine, I mean, like I'm just gonna mirror the Allen thing. Like points, rebound, prop, I think is super interesting for him. Anthony Edwards, he's been someone that like props wise, his point prop, it's coming in at like 29 to 30 and a half. I mean, just this guy's on another level right now. So really like that. I'll be paying attention to those two. And I'll probably use like those two guys as like my main pieces on Sleeper. What do you got for me, Dre?
That's sorry, I just thought about it. This reminded me too. I would ladder D'Angelo Russell against Memphis over on points. Or ladder it.
There you go. That's what we got. That's what it is. That's what we got for this Friday. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single one of you. I always appreciate everyone hanging out. I love the YouTube part of the show now. People getting to hang out with us during the show. What's up, YouTube? Hope you have a fantastic weekend, everyone. We'll be back Monday talking. I mean, we'll probably talk like the two teams that are going to make the Super Bowl, but we'll be talking some hoops. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Monday.